Warning, this video will contain major spoilers for the Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim. Hello everybody, this is Ian here, and today I'm going to be sharing a theory that I came up with about Skyrim, specifically the Dark Brotherhood quest, Death Incarnate. But before we get started, I'm going to quickly go over what has happened so far in this quest. So, you are on a contract, but as you make your escape, you are waylaid by a group of soldiers who tell you that the entire sanctuary is being destroyed. So, you quickly fight your way through all of the guards and make your way back to the sanctuary, where you find the Penitus Oculatus, a group of specially trained soldiers who have been sent to destroy the Dark Brotherhood. You fight your way through them and find Festus Crex pinned to a tree with about 30 arrows in him. Upon entering, you find the entire place destroyed and on fire. You also find the bodies of Vizara, Arnbjorn, Gabriella, the Sanctuary Spider, and later, Astrid. In the end, the only survivors other than yourself are Nazir and Babette. Or are they? This is where the theory comes in, because one of these people is not actually dead, and that person is Vizara. Here's why. When the Dragonborn first enters the sanctuary after the attack begins, he or she will find Vizara's body in the first room. However, upon returning to that spot after the fires die, his body is gone. Penitus Oculati could not have moved the body, because the Dragonborn kills all the soldiers outside, and the only two in the entrance area. All of the Penitus Oculati in the main chamber are also killed. Other than the entrance, there are 3 doors from the main room to the rest of the sanctuary. 2 of them are blocked, and the Dragonborn goes through the 3rd, once again killing all of the Penitus Oculati in the room. At this point, there are only 2 more enemies alive in the sanctuary, both of which are killed. So none of the Penitus Oculati had the chance to move Vizara's body, but that still leaves 2 suspects. It's entirely possible that Nazir or Babette visited the entrance to the sanctuary before rescuing you from the Night Mother's coffin. However, if they had found Vizara's dead body, then it still would have been there when you went to see Astrid, because Nazir and Babette would have helped the person alive and trapped before bothering to move a dead body. Alternatively, if they had found Vizara alive, then either he would have been with them when they rescued you, or he would have shown up at the Dawnstar Sanctuary when the Dark Brotherhood moved there. So the only explanation as to why you don't see Vizara after being rescued is that Nazir and Babette did not find his body. So if neither the Penitus Oculati nor Nazir and Babette moved Vizara's body, then it should still be where the Dragonborn found it. Only it's not. Here's what I think happened. When Vizara fights the Penitus Oculati, he is wounded and falls unconscious, not killed. At which point the Dragonborn enters the sanctuary, fights his way through the room, sees Vizara, thinks he's dead, and proceeds to the next room, hearing fighting. Sometime between that and the Dragonborn's rescue, Vizara wakes up, sees the entire sanctuary on fire, assumes everyone is dead, and escapes. But Ian, you the viewer says, there are charred corpses all over the sanctuary. How do you know that one of them isn't Vizara? How do you know he isn't buried under a pile of rubble? Well, I say, after checking all of the charred corpses in the sanctuary, you can see that none of them have an Argonian head or a tail. Additionally, both of the charred corpses in the entrance room and the one in the hallway near the exit match dead Penitus Oculati. Also, Vizara is not buried under rubble, because after looking at the 2 collapsed areas in the entrance room, and looking at what those sites looked like before the collapse, you will notice that the only way Vizara could have been buried underneath one of them was if he decided during a fire to sit in a puddle of oil next to wooden objects. And you'd have to be pretty dumb to do that. Another collapsed area near the exit would be too small to bury someone underneath. All the other areas of collapse, aka Astrid's room and the main sanctuary, were all blocked off by fire, so Vizara could not have been buried under those. So Vizara has escaped the sanctuary and now disappears off the radar. So what happens to him afterwards? Well, he thinks he's the only survivor of the last sanctuary, Maybe he starts a new Dark Brotherhood. Maybe he tries to resurrect the Shadow Scales. Maybe he joins the Morag Tong. Or maybe he settles down and tries to live an ordinary life. No one knows. Well, that's it for my theory. I hope you all enjoyed. Tell me in the comments below whether you agree or disagree with me, and I will see you next time.